everybody. Welcome back. You've landed on the final episode of season 2. Thank you so much for tuning in to our previous episodes. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of guest audience members, and that's some really fun guest speakers. You got to interview people about different topics in their life, other people who have different perspectives than us, and that's been a pleasure. But this episode is all about you. So you guys asked us questions, and we are going to give you the answers to the stuff that you wanted to know. So I'm Dr. Tasani Watson, and you should know who everybody else is on this podcast. If you don't, look us up and follow us on Instagram. Make sure to like and share these videos because we know you like them, because we know you watch them. So the first question that we have is, do optometry jobs pay for relocation? What you got, guys?
So relocation is a big thing because we all know that where we start, that's not going to be where we end, right? So our journey, as far as mine, I would say that I never thought I would be practicing here in Florida. I said I was flexible. I said, hey, you know, if the money makes sense, I'm pretty much willing to go anywhere you put me. So when I was graduating optometry school, I had groups come in, different organizations come in and say, hey, we have positions in Minnesota. We got positions in Wisconsin. Now, some of these places are very cold, right? And it's like, I ain't trying to move nowhere cold. So that's where the flexibility comes in. Hey, I can give you this much money to come work in these places, but, you know, it might not be the best conditions. You might be shoveling snow in the morning. You might be having to put a wet towel on your windshield in the morning just to keep all the ice off, right? Conditions may not be that great, but you'll make a good amount of money. That being said, after a while, you've made so much money, you realize, like, hey, you know what? That drove me at first, but now that's not what's driving me to keep this thing going. So that's where you'll start to look for, like, hey, where do I really want to be? What are the demographics? What's my, what we call it? I don't even know the word for it. What's my living? Like, how do I want to live the rest of my life outside of optometry? Because at first, all we kind of think about is like, hey, we got to pay these loans off. Hey, I'm in so much debt. Hey, how can I get that down, right? Once you reach that goal over time, you realize that, hey, this is a great profession. I will say one thing, the profession is not going anywhere. So anywhere you move, you know, no matter how much technology comes out, no matter how much, you know, artificial intelligence, hey, we can do remote eye exams. We still need a doctor to physically do a lot of the things, right? So I always think about technology and all these innovations to optometry as ways to make our job easier, as ways to save us time. So when we talk about relocating, there's going to be a job anywhere you want to go, right? Where you start is not where you're going to end. So keep that in mind. Like, hey, go for the money first if that's what you got to do, you know, and then find yourself a way out. Most of the times, unless you have worked up some kind of deal with the organization, like, hey, you got a location here, do you have a location there? A lot of times they might not pay for you to relocate, or they may pay if they really, really need you there and you're moving to a place that they have nobody, a Minnesota, a Wisconsin, some place you probably don't want to be, but say, hey, can we move you from here, this comfortable environment, to there? We'll pay for you to move. We'll pay for travel. We'll pay for flights. We'll pay for U-Haul. They'll pay for a lot of things for you to go where you need to go, but it has to be somewhere that they need you, right? So just for a comfort move, I'm just moving to South Florida, Miami, somewhere that's great. Everybody wants to go to Miami. Everybody wants to go to Texas and different places like that. No, they're not about to pay you to move to those places because it's saturated. They have many docs there that they can just hire for little or nothing. In fact, if you move to those places, expect your salary to go down, right? It's going down, right? So that's where you get into a thing where, like, hey,
not too much on Texas, though. Not too much on Texas, though. Not too much.
You up for a downgrade, Sola? You up for a downgrade?
I ain't trying to downgrade nothing. I'm all about the upgrade.
Upgrade, right? So think about a downgrade, moving to Miami. You've been making such amount, and now you're going to a nicer place that costs more to live, and they're paying you less. You have to really want to go to these places, right? And you figure that out.
That was my situation. Let's just say it for what it is. That was my situation. So I did get a sign-on bonus and a relocation bonus when I signed on with my particular company. So that was something that we negotiated, and they were happy to do that. But once we relocated from the border of Texas to Dallas, which is where we are now, they were like, hold on, we ain't, no, we ain't doing that. What you need that for? We ain't, hey, we don't need to do that. So, yeah, I mean, he's correct. You know, some places and people will, view, what you do differently depending on the location that you're at. So, they put stock in different locations. That's just the way that the nature of the business. So, it is what it is. But relocating is part of the process, like you said. You may not stay in wherever you are forever. And that's just the truth. You may not stay in that city. You may not stay in that particular job, forever. So, relocating is part of the process. And when you do want to try your best to ask for some kind of money for whoever you're working for to help you relocate, because that process is not the easiest. You do need a little bit of help. So
the biggest thing is ask for it. If you don't ask for it, they are not always going to bring it up as an option. They may not do relocation bonuses, but they just do a general overall sign-on bonus. So definitely ask for it if that's something that you want, or are curious if that company will provide it for you. So Dr. Jake, if you can talk more about tips on moving to a saturated market, any tips you can give people when they're moving from a smaller market to a saturated market, or any tips on how to find a job if you're moving to a really popular area?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I mean, I don't really got tips for real, because it comes with the territory. So when you're thinking about relocating to a bigger market or a more saturated market or a bigger city, you're thinking all about the quality of your life. That's the only thing that's really on the forefront of your life, forefront of your mind. You're not thinking about the financial anymore, because that has to come later, right? Because right now you need to live good right now. So, for us, we moved to the bigger city because the demand for me to be here was very high, right? When COVID hit, nobody wanted to come watch our son no more. Nobody wanted to come to the house. Daycares were closed, and I still got a newborn. I got an infant, and we still essential. You dig what I'm saying? We essential. So I gotta, somebody gotta watch this kid, because we gotta go to work. So, we were flying in, people in and out just to watch our son, and that wasn't going to be feasible. That wasn't going to be conducive to what we needed. So we had to transfer and relocate to the big city where my parents were, so that we can have that help. So that was the demand for me. So for me, that quality of life, knowing that he was in good hands with my mom here, and that we could have family support around us whenever we needed to make moves, was everything. Now that we have that situation situated, right now, the financial aspect of it now has to get kind of built from the ground up in this particular setting. So really, it just is a matter of what you're trying to get out of it, what you're looking for, and because we know in this profession, if you're in rural areas, you're going to make a lot more money. So if you're thinking about finances, then you have to think more rural. If you come to the big city, it comes with the territory. You're just going to be, it's just not as competitive. So it is what it is. But that's really really all I got for you.
Yeah, biggest thing, I mean, just do your research, because, I think I kind of got lucky in my situation of still being in a bigger city. Charlotte is kind of a growing city, but also it's not as saturated when it comes to our field. So the demand for us is really big here. So salary can kind of, vary, but more on the upper end in states like North Carolina. So that's one thing, when you're looking at where you want to relocate. Yes, there are going to be certain things that you may not have big control over, but also look at the benefits which comes into being in certain cities, or what your likes and dislikes are. And, sometimes it just comes down to your quality of life and what you really want.
Yeah, I would say be flexible. Working in Atlanta is a very saturated market. So most people don't get an opportunity to work in one office or have one job. They work in multiple different offices. You may not go to work in their preferred location. You have to be willing to drive maybe an hour to work in one direction to one office and an hour the other direction to another office if you really want to work in a popular city. But it really comes down to what's important to you, whether it's you living in the heart of the city, if that's what's most important to you, if you making more money is what's important to you. You have to really just be flexible when it comes to that. And then another question we got from our audience was, what are your thoughts on mobile optometry? And is that something that you guys would do or are even interested in?
So mobile optometry is not a bad idea. I actually looked into it for about 3 years now. I had looked into it. I even looked up other optometrists who do mobile optometry. So there's a big company in Atlanta And they have branched out to where they have a location in Chicago, Atlanta, and then one other in another state. So they took in that model and replicated, and they're consistently growing. So I was like, hey, let me get that going in Florida before they get down here. I can already have it going, right? Mm-hmm. So it's lucrative if you have it. So what they did, they got a Greyhound bus, flipped it, converted the inside exam lanes. It's long, so it's walkable.
Oh, that's really cool.
Outside is wrapped with what their optometry is all about, right? And so they go to probably the schools, the nursing homes, the facilities, and that's how they do their day-to-day, right? But it's functional. They have their staff come on site, set up, they get it done, and they move on to the next location. It is convenient for a lot of people who they might not be able to go to an office at a certain time. But if you set up a site right down the road and I'm on my lunch break, maybe I can run there and grab an exam real quick, right? So they made this model very lucrative for them. Like if you work for big companies like Harris, Northrop, whatever big company you can think about, and they contract with this mobile company, now they can set up on site of this big organization, and on their lunch break, they can see patients all day. And these big companies have thousands and thousands of employees that need eye exams. And hey, we also take your insurance with this mobile optometry, and we can drive to you. So it's not a bad idea if you're flexible and you're willing to do something like that. It's probably going to cost you about the same as it's going to cost you to actually have a standalone building, getting a Greyhound bus and getting it updated and remodeled, plus gas going back and forth. So you got to take your pros and cons with it. But it's definitely a market that optometrists don't explore as much, right? It's not traditional, but it works.
But when you think of it, I mean, just even in today's world, I mean, the whole COVID thing going on still, you know, if you really think about how that could impact your communities, because a lot of people are still really scared to even go to the office. So, you know, the fact that you can transport yourself and go into their homes, it would make them a little bit more comfortable. So I think it is a good idea. Have I did my research into it? I haven't, but I do think it's a really good idea, especially in today's times.
Yeah, definitely pretty cool. I didn't even know about the whole Greyhound bus concept that Cortez just explained. And that's actually really cool. Prior to hearing that, I've probably been like, nope, not for me.
I just wanted to replicate what they had done. They've expanded to different states under the same name. They're going like that. No different than America's Best, but mobile, right?
That's cool.
So it's not bad.
Really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. That's cool.
And another question that we got was, were there any defining moments or patients that made you happy that you chose optometry as a career?
Yeah, I'll start, man. I had a patient that I basically saved her life. She came and saw me probably last year, 28-year-old girl. She had papilledema. She ended up getting a stent placed in, and she is perfectly normal now. I just saw her last week, and it's cool because she came back in and was like, "Hey, I want to work here now. You know, like, you know, you helped me like save me, like save my eyes, saved it. Now I want to, you know, you guys hiring. I heard you guys are hiring. I was like, I want to come and work, you know, for you, you know, for you guys." And I was like, "Hey, that's pretty dope, man. Go ahead and put your application in." You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, you make such an impact in somebody's life that they come back and actually want to put that same work in. So, yeah, I mean, those moments happen, you know, very, very seldomly, but when they do happen, they mean a whole lot. So.
Yeah, I had one lady, so she worked at the bank, and she actually tell her at the bank, and her contacts, whoever was doing her contacts, completely just messed her up. She was reading people's credit cards incorrectly, messing up people's checks. Like, she was about to lose her job because her reports were all off. Redid her contacts, and she was so thrilled. This was the first time she could ever actually see credit cards, driver's license, names, actually see road signs when she was driving. She went to work for that week, and she was like, "I didn't mess up anything." Came back for her contact lens follow-up. She was like, "You saved my job." Like, they were about to fire me. So it's in the small moments and the small things where you just think, "Oh, I'm just doing my job, giving someone a contact lens prescription." Those small moments really do change lives. And I feel like sometimes I lose sight of that until patients come back in and tell me how much of an impact I really made on their lives. So that has been really rewarding.
Let me ask you something real quick, Hassan.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that case? What contact lens was that patient wearing?
She was just wearing, she was in monovision. So I had one eye in a toric contact lens, a soft toric contact lens, and the other one in a spherical lens. But she had a really, really high prescription. She was like a minus 10-ish in both eyes, and she was presbyope. So presbyope just means that she has a different prescription for distance than for reading. So when you see older people wearing reading glasses, that's all that means. But her vision was still just kind of really off balance. She was in full distance, and she had tried monovision with somebody else. She had tried some other contact lens modalities, but everything was still just not clear. And she just refused to wear glasses of any sort. She didn't want to be caught dead in glasses, reading glasses or whatever. So she just wasn't going to wear them. And she was honest, like, I'm not wearing them. So what can you do to help me? And I was like, let's see if this works. And it did. It made a huge, huge impact on her life. So yeah.
Those patients are fun, right? Those ones that are like, I don't care. I'm not wearing. You're not gonna catch me dead.
Yeah.
And not only that, every other doctor didn't get it right. So here you go. You saved the day now. It's like, oh,
right.
Goodness,
and I'm only coming to you from now on.
Right.
Like that. You're the only doctor that gets it right. You still here? I'm going to travel with you wherever you at. So yeah, that makes you always feel good too. When it's like you were the one that got me to where I needed to be. But I know we all have like those kid moments of, their first pair of glasses. But I do remember it was this one. He was probably like 6 or so, and he was real timid and shy coming in, like didn't speak a word. And by the time we got through the whole exam and I put the little trial frame on him, and literally he just like, this smile just literally like, it just like started to grow. And he was just like, oh. And then literally I saw him the next year. It was a whole new boy. This boy, I'm like, who are you? Like, he was literally like so animated and everything because he can see now. But when I first met him, he was just the shyest thing you could think of. So I was like, even just that, moment, how glasses can affect you just being a kid.
Yeah.
We'll say all those moments are great. There's a drawback to being found that, oh, you're the best doc ever. I'll always come back to you. There's that feeling of, I got to be perfect now. Next year when you come, I got to get it right. Or everything you say, I got to be like, okay, let me handle that for you real quick because you've already uplifted and
raised the standards now.
In my mind, it's got to be perfect when sometimes it's not going to always be that way. So you're worried about now letting that patient or anybody that they refer to come to you, right? Oh, such and such told me you're the awesome doc. You're good with kids.
You're the best doctor in the world.
Like, you're so good with kids. Can you do what you did for that person for my kid?
And and it's tough when like you gotta replicate what you already do fine, but it's like now you gotta live up to the hype now. So that's
now,
the drawback.
This is a little off, but have y'all ever had the patient trying to sugarcoat you when they trying to get that DMV form filled out, knowing good and well they ain't supposed to pay?
Thankfully, no. Thankfully, I haven't had to deny anybody.
They be like, oh my God, you've always been so good. Like, no, you know why you trying to sugarcoat, make me feel good. I know what you up to.
I've had to take a few licenses. I will say I've had to put some restrictions and take a few licenses, but we have a conversation. And they understand that they don't need to be on the road or they're a danger to the community. Like, I'm sorry. Gotta do it.
I'm a restriction king. I'm restricted real quick. I'm restricted real quick now,
Well, I'll say as far as like just being us young Black doctors, I'm sure we said it in past episodes, but to gear it back again, just having those people come and tell you, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Seeing a Black doctor. I've never seen a Black female doctor, anything like those moments are priceless. And the fact that we're able to show a different, look of what a doctor is supposed to look like kind of goes back to why we even started this in the first place.
Well, that's a good point. And that's another gratification I get from going to the schools. I did school screenings today at Bethany Christian, right? Last week I was at West Melbourne Christian Academy, right? So when I go to these schools, it's cool to see like, oh yeah, you can be this too. Yeah, you can do this too. What's up? You know, and I have to look like the cool doc. I got on the Yeezys, whatever, 350s. I almost wear the dopest shoes. I got the shades on. So I'm looking like, oh, I want to be like him. He's cool. Oh, where you get those shoes? Can I get those shoes off for you? So kids joke around all day with me, right?
Pull up in a
But they
Beamer.
get to see like, hey, you're a doc. Oh, I can be like that too, right? And so that kind of puts me out there in the community. So I like that.
Definitely really beneficial. Do you guys have any other questions? I think that's it. We'll answer all the questions from the audience. Any last tidbits, tips, tricks, anything else you want the people to know?
Hey, look,
no motivation.
Crickets.
We ain't got no motivation from you today. We got to end it out, right?
Who?
What you got to tell our audience? What we gonna leave them with that for the last?
Well, look. I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna leave you out with this. First, one, thanks for rocking with us this season. Yeah. This was a very good season. I think we brought some very good quality guests on the podcast to add great content and value. So we hope that you guys did that. Stay tuned for season 3. Don't think this is over. We still coming strong. We still got heat for you guys. And we love doing this because like we said, man, like a lot of this is for us. It's rewarding for us to put ourselves in this position, put ourselves kind of out there for you all, for everybody, for whoever's listening, who may want to be in our position or who's already in our position and who's learning things as we learn things too. I recently got someone who reached out to me, one of my friends, and she said, hey, I just love what you're doing. And, I think that, I have one of my nieces or whatever, I want to refer her to you to, learn a lot more about optometry because I'm seeing what you're doing. And I get other friends who hit me up and say, hey, this other girl, she's trying to get into optometry school. Can you answer her questions? And then I get another guy who says, hey, man, I got into optometry school at this particular school, man. Thanks for all your help. And then I get, other people hitting. And the point is that like we're getting all this feedback, positive feedback from people that are really benefiting from kind of what we're doing here. And the point is that like we're putting ourselves out here to be a resource to you guys. So man, always know that we're here for you. Always know that we want the best for everybody. And just know that we guys got your back, and anything that we can do to help you guys, we will be there. So, with that, always pursue greatness, be fully black 100% and show your greatness and your blackness everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? And let them know, who we are. And you know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah. And just thank you guys. Thank you for supporting us through season 1, season 2. Without an audience, we have no podcast. Thank you for watching the videos, liking, putting your comments, really interacting with us. We really appreciate talking to you guys and hearing your feedback, what you've liked on our episodes and what you want to hear more of. So we can't wait to see you guys in season 3. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. We love you all. Good night.
Peace.
All right.
That's it.